Hi, my name is Selena, and I'm going to be doing a bookshelf tour. I'm just going to show you the books whose authors' last names end in A, B, C, and D, because I'm doing a bit of a reading challenge to get some of these unread books read. So I'm reading alphabetically through my bookshelves, picking up books of authors that I haven't read yet, starting with A, then moving on through the alphabet throughout the whole year. So I finished in January reading authors whose last names end in A and B. Then in February, I did authors whose last names end in C and D. But that'll be a separate video where I'll show you which books I read. Right now, I'm just going to do a bookshelf tour of those letters in the alphabet. So let's start at the beginning with Flatland by Edwin Abbott. And this is my Barnes & Noble edition, which is kind of cool. I like the cover. But it's very small. It's under 200 pages. I can't get it back in with one hand. It's very difficult to put a book back with one hand. J.J. Abrams and Doug Dorsett's S. An omnibus of Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This has all 6 novels. And then just the first one, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's this one, which I love these editions. The ones with here, the back shows you how they all look. I don't know if you can see it very well, but yeah, I want to get all of them in this edition. Hopefully, one day. I keep taking the books out, and I know I can't put them back very well, easily with one hand. Okay, then I have The Book of Tomorrow by Cecilia Ahern. And if I'm mispronouncing names, forgive me. The Youngest Mrs. Ward by Joan Aiken, which is a prequel to Mansfield Park. Eliza's Daughter, which is a sequel to Sense and Sensibility, also by Joan Aiken. And then I have Fever and Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. Feed by M.T. Anderson. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. I have 2 copies of Little Women. They're both very old. This is my favorite one. I just like the cover of it. And again, I took a book out without really knowing how I'm going to put it back in. You think I'd learn, but I don't. And then also by Louisa May Alcott, I have Work and a collection of short stories called The Quiet Little Woman. And it's just really pretty gold, kind of framed picture. Yeah, I'm not learning my lesson at all. I'm just going to stick this up here. No more taking books out. Next, I have Skellig by David Almond. The Biology of Luck by Jacob M. Appel, which I got as a Goodreads giveaway, but I didn't really find it appealing, so I stopped reading it, but I need to read it so I can do a review. J. Asher, 13 Reasons Why. The Various by, I'm not sure I pronounce it last name, Ayugrade. Now coming to my Jane Austens, I have a lot of them. So here we go. I have Emma, Northanger Abbey, Mansfield Park, and these are really cool Barnes & Noble editions that I don't see out too much anymore, but they have this gold leafing on the edges, which is really cute, and they're really tiny, which is good for fitting it into a bag. Persuasion, Pride and Prejudice, and this is my oldest copy of Pride and Prejudice. It's well loved, like I like to say, not beat up. Then I have Mansfield Park, and this is Jane Austen's, oops, sorry, I hit the camera, The History of England, which was a story, well, not really a story, it's like a history that she wrote as a young author, and the illustrations were done by her sister Cassandra. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a book tour of that one. It's a really interesting read. Another another Persuasion, Northanger Abbey, Sense and Sensibility, Sanditon, which was Jane Austen's last started novel, but she never completed it, and was completed by someone who chose to remain anonymous. And then A Teacher's Guide to Pride and Prejudice. Now we're moving down to the next row. Okay, now I have The Watsons and Emma Watson, which is also written by Jane Austen. She started it, I think, during the time she was in Bath, but never finished it. So this was finished by Joan Aiken. An annotated Sense and Sensibility, and then a collection of juvenilia writings by Jane Austen and Charlotte Bronte. Another edition of Mansfield Park, another edition of Pride and Prejudice, and then the annotated Pride and Prejudice. And there ends my collection of Jane Austen novels. Moving on, I have Shipbreaker by Paolo Bacigalupi, and then The Whitney Chronicles by Judy Baer, Chasing Veneer, Alexandra by Nick Bancock, and then stuck inside of here, whoa, there we go, Lilies of the Field by William E. Barrett, Lexicon by Max Berry, Orinoco by Afra Bean. And this is a very good story. It was written by a female author, like just I think a couple of years after the time of Shakespeare. She's an interesting character in herself, Afra Bean, but this is a story written about an African named Orinoco who is taken into the slave trade. It's just a really good read. Interesting perspective from like the late 16th century or early 17th century. But anyway, good story. And then The Sisters Mortland by Sally Beuman. Then I have Judy Blume books, Fudge Mania, Tiger Eyes, and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. A Man for All Seasons. The first two in the Darkest Minds series, which I have yet to read, by Alexander Bracken. So The Darkest Minds and then Never Fade. My two Ray Bradbury books. So, oh, this is upside down. Let's see if I can get it back in. There we go. So I have Fahrenheit 451 and The Martian Chronicles, which is a collection of short stories that kind of tie together about Earth, humans going to colonize Mars. Then I have Kingdom of Summer by Gillian Bradshaw, which is like a Arthurian retelling story, which I have yet to read. Shakespeare's Secret, a collection, well, it's the trilogy, all three books in the Black Jewels stories by Anne Bishop. And then in my collection of Jane Eyre novels, I have quite a few. So this is one copy of Jane Eyre, which is not a very pretty one. And then this copy of Jane Eyre again with the gold leafing all on the pages. And then another old copy of Jane Eyre. This has like pictures inside of the Moors in England. Wuthering Heights, and then Jane Eyre. Okay, going down, and my chair is going to go down with me. Let's see. Yay, chair's going down. Okay. Dan Brown, Angels and Demons, and then Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. Gideon the Cutpurse, which is an ARC edition that I got, but I have yet to read it, by Buckley Archer, I believe. And then John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress. So I have this paperback edition, and then I have this really old edition. This is my only book that I own that is over 100 years old, which I'm very proud of. Then I have Secret Garden by Francis H. Burnett. Jim Butcher's Stormfront, which is the first in the Dresden Files series. My only Octavia Butler book, which is The Parable of the Sower. And then Black Moon by Kenneth Calhoun, which I got as an ARC from Goodreads. And Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game. And Cecil Castellucci, I'm not sure if I'm saying that last name right, 10 Star, which I just finished reading, which is very good. Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventure in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. Then I have Solus by Gail Carringer, Don Quixote by Cervantes, and The School of Good and Evil by, oh, I can never get this, Salmon, yeah. Then The Perks of Being a Wallflower. My two Agatha Christie novels, I have And Then There Were None and Murder on the Orient Express. And these are very pretty. I guess I could show you one. I have this nice like Agatha Christie cover. And then on the inside, it's this. So that's cool. I'll put that there for now. And then Mary Higgins Clark, The Little Girls in Blue. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. The Alchemist, Gregor the Overlander, written by Suzanne Collins, who also is the author, obviously, of The Hunger Games. But I only read this first one in the series. I haven't finished the series, but I think I'm going to. It's always weird when an author has a book like The Hunger Games that kind of eclipses all the other writings that they've done or will ever do. So I think I'm going to give this series a try. Then by Wilkie Collins, I have Basil and Moonstone. And then Joseph Conrad's The Heart of Darkness. Must Love Dogs by Claire Cook. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. And then Bill Cosby's The Meanest Thing to Say, which was a very good children's book. And then Archetype the Thief by Anai Crabtree. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She told me once how to pronounce it and I forgot, so forgive me. And by Hannah Craft, The Bondwoman's Narrative, which is purported to be the first novel written by an African-American woman. And still going down, moving into the D's. Well, I have Sharon Creech, Pleasing the Ghost. Children of the River by Linda Crew, which is a book that I picked up in middle school and have loved ever since. Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Mark Z. Dashwini, House of Leaves. I think I butchered that person's last name, sorry. The Divine Comedy, Dante's Inferno. James Dashner, A Door in the Wood, which is the first book in a series, which I haven't finished, but I read the first book and it was not bad. Daniel Defoe's Moll Flanders, Chosen by Ted Dekker. Nelson DeMille's The Quest. The Enchanted. And then Because of Winn-Dixie. Oh, I messed up. Sorry. Zoom in. Let's zoom back out. The Enchanted, Because of Winn-Dixie, Great Expectations. Our Mutual Friend, Charles Dickens, Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This is a graphic novel, retelling of Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. And then I have The Idiot, also by Dostoevsky. The Complete Sherlock Holmes is the first volume, is the Barnes & Noble edition by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I Know What You Did Last Summer, which I love this cover by Lois Duncan. So Pulp Fiction. And that ends my book tour for today.